Hello! So a couple days ago, I started a brand new playthrough on 2.0 with the intention of becoming a Netrunner. And I was surprised at how overpowered Netrunner is. I don't think having overpowered stuff in a single player game is a bad thing, because it's fun. But after playing Netrunner, it's hard to think of why you would play the game any other way. Basically, if you want to humiliate the game, Netrunner is the way to do it. Because you'll run into these bosses who are like, I've slayed thousands before you, you are nothing to me, and you're just like, snap, dead. It's like the, omae wa mo shinderu. Nani? But like, in Cyberpunk form. So before we get too invested, this is how I spent my perk points in intelligence. This is my cyberware on my main Netrunner character. This is an Iconic Cyberware that guarantees crits. It's very, very powerful. This is how I produced the high damage hits that are in the opening montage to the video. Alright, so now we're going to talk about how this build works from level 20 to level 40 to max level. And it'll be like a progression kind of thing. Oh, one more thing. These are the quick hacks I'm using. I'm using Sonic Shock. This stops enemies from tracing you. I'm using Synapse Burnout. This does an incredible amount of damage. I'm using Cyberware Malfunction because it has very little RAM, and it's very good as a control follow-up for our buffs. The rest of the quick hacks in the deck, I am not really using them. However, I'll tell you what they are. Weapon Glitch, Ping, Short Circuit, Overheat, and Contagion. So this is a build that you can start enjoying at level 20, but it starts being really good at level 40. Technically, if you're upgrading your Cyberdeck, you can make this work prior to those level requirements. Here we are on my level 20 character, and let's talk about what we got going on. In terms of cyberware, the most important thing for us is our Cyberdeck. We're going to be using the Tetratonic Rippler, and we want this guy to be tier 3 or better. That's where level 20 comes in, because once you hit level 20, all of the cyberware from Ripper Docs gets upgraded to being tier 3, so that's the blue quality. We want this guy to be tier 3 because of the 40% damage buff to our combat quick hacks when followed by a non-combat quick hack in the queue. This is just stuff to make it a little bit nicer, to increase our RAM. I went for this guy, which gives me RAM based on the damage we take, Biomonitor, and Blood Pump. This is actually a really nice quality of life for the build. Originally, I wasn't sure if I liked it or not, but after testing it and playing with it for a while, it's very nice. So that's what we got for cyberware. We are heavily spec'd into intelligence because a lot of this stuff we need. So let's finish talking about our buffs. Embedded Exploit is a 60% damage buff to our combat quick hacks if they are used on an enemy affected by a control or covert quick hack. The way that translates to gameplay is you use your control or convert quick hack first, then your combat quick hack, and that's how you get the 60% damage buff. So now, to help us take advantage and get the damage from these buffs, we need quick hack queuing. This tree on the far left has hack queue. This will allow us to be able to queue up multiple quick hacks on one target. And then above it is queue acceleration, which will allow us to increase the size of the queue. Alright, so now that we have that, we're gonna need RAM in order to do the quick hacks that we wanna do. This is where Overclock comes in. Overclock allows us to convert our health into RAM. And when you combine this with health recovery items, it gives you a lot of RAM to work with. Here is a practical demonstration of how our perks and our cyberware work together. So we're gonna do Synapse Burnout, Sonic Shock, Synapse Burnout, but I'm out of RAM. I will activate Overclock. So now you can see at the top left, my health has been converted into RAM, which will allow me to use some of my health to continue using quick hacks. So we're going to do Sonic Shock, Synapse Burnout, and Cyberware Malfunction. In the middle of all of this, our Blood Pump has healed us so that we get more RAM so we can do more quick hacks. Now you're going to see the 3 levels of damage that we have available from how we're utilizing our buffs. Okay, so what's the point of having 3 different levels of damage? What does this give us? It gives us choices and decisions that we can make during our playthrough of how we want to use our RAM. Take, for example, this group of 4 enemies. We have 1 enemy with 1 health bar, 2 enemies with 2 health bars, and an elite enemy, which is the skull, with 3 health bars. So if we want to be conservative about our RAM, we could do Synapse Burnout, Sonic Sock Synapse, Sonic Sock Synapse, Sonic Sock Synapse Cyberware, and this will effectively take out this group of 4 with no question. Now if we approach the same group of 4 enemies and hit all of them with Synapse Burnout, the elite is going to stay alive for sure, and the guys with the 2 health bars, they could live if our damage low rolls. See, okay, 1 enemy died, the second enemy lived. So this is an example of our attack getting a low roll. So because of that, the enemy lived. If this was a covert mission or something like that, this guy would alert the enemies and we would have to reload our save file. That's why I like to make the decision of using the 2-part combo on these type of enemies, so you guarantee that you will take them out. Meanwhile, our elite is alive. We're gonna do Sonic Sock Synapse on all of them. Sonic Synapse, Sonic Synapse, Sonic Synapse, and Sonic Synapse. So we knew that the combo would be overkill for the guy with 1 health bar. It would guarantee the kill on the enemies with the 2 health bars. However, the elite is alive. We were not able to take him down. So that is why having the 3 different levels of damage is very important, because while you're playing through the game, you have to make a decision on how you want to do your quick hack combos to effectively take out all of the enemies in front of you. So in terms of choosing our combos effectively, we can do Synapse on the 1, Sonic Synapse on the guys who have 2, and then we can do Sonic Synapse Cyberware on the elite, and this will take out all 4 of them very easily without any drama and no problem at all. Okay, so I mentioned how doing Sonic Synapse on the enemy with 1 health bar could be overkill. There's still a reason why you might want to do it. So if we just do Synapse on him, and we take him out, now his teammates are tracing our location. This is something that's new that was added in 2.0. For a lot of people, including myself, when this started happening, I was very upset about it because I was like, wait, I thought I defeated that enemy undetected. What do you mean eventually they're gonna know where I am? So there is a way to prevent this from happening. If your goal is to be stealthy and remain undetected, then what we need to do is Sonic Shock. So the important thing about this is it prevents communication with their allies, and basically what that translates to is you can defeat this enemy without being detected and without giving his teammates a way to be able to trace you. See? Now his teammates are not able to trace me to find out where I am, so I will remain undetected. So that is a reason why, even though it might not be RAM efficient, it is still worth it to remain undetected. This is just another thing you can think about during your playthrough on how you want to approach situations. Alright, let's say you've been playing for a little while and you've made it to level 40, so you have access now to a tier 5 Cyberdeck, or you use your components to upgrade your Cyberdeck to tier 5. This is the next big quality of life improvement of the build, because that lets you get the tier 5 version of Synapse Burnout. And the important thing about that is when you neutralize an enemy with Synapse Burnout, it will recharge your Overclock. So this is how we can stay in Overclock for a longer period of time. Okay, so with any luck, hopefully we will be able to do 2 supply drops, and we will maintain our overclock for the whole entire time. Alright, so right now my overclock is pretty low. But after defeating these enemies, it should go all the way back to full. See, my overclock is now back up to full. So we will go to this next supply drop. Take these guys out along the way. It's back up to full again. Oops. Oops, didn't see that guy there. Alright, so there we go. We were able to do 2 supply drops with Overclock. And it's still active. Now that we've reached level 40, or we have a tier 5 Cyberdeck, we know we can keep our overclock going continuously as long as we have enemies to defeat with Synapse Burnout. Can you take it further than this? Yes. Yes, you can. And you do so with this Iconic Cyberware. What this cyberware does is it allows your Quickhacks to deal critical hits. And it gives you a 100% crit chance. So even though it reduces some of your RAM, this is totally okay. This is very acceptable. Most of your RAM comes from your ability to regenerate your health, not from the RAM you have available on your Cyberdeck, but it's the RAM you have available from your health. Remember these guys? Last time we did Synapse Burnout on them, 2 of them lived. Let's see what happens this time. A little bit more damage. That is the difference that the Iconic Cyberware mod is doing for us. It monstrously multiplies our damage. This is basically enough damage to kill any open world mob, and this is enough to almost kill cyber psychos and bosses. If you buff it, then it does an extreme amount of damage. So, for example, with cyber psychos, it wasn't enough. So Synapse Burnout by itself was not enough to one-shot the Cyber Psycho, but if you buff it, Cyber Psycho gone. And that's basically how you one-shot pretty much anything in the whole entire game. The only thing I haven't one-shot is bosses who have phases to them. So you buff it on them, it just nukes their health, pushes the phase, and then in the next phase you have to buff it and hit them again. Like this guy, for example. This boss. See, we pushed him, and then he runs away. So let's see, is he any harder in phase 2? Now that he's in a suit like this?
Fantastic.
Nope. Just basically one-shot him. That's pretty much all I have for you guys. Go out there, try some Netrunner builds. It's extremely overpowered, so I hope you guys have some fun with it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!